getting us in the mood for a luscious day and evening of Mia's World. And that was the beautiful Brazilian singer Alexia Bontempo with I'm in Love Again, a fabulous Cy Coleman tune. And Alexia Bontempo has been on the show, Mia's World, several times. And she's actually performing tomorrow night at Joe's Pub in New York City on Lafayette Street. If anybody wants to go, I'm sure there's tickets available. 9:30 show at Joe's Pub. Alexia Bontempo with I'm in Love Again. And I'm in love with my guests today on Mia's World. My guests today are the fabulous trio and individual artists, Melissa STYLIANOU, Jean Bertoncini, and IKE STURM. So welcome to Mia's World.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, Jean. Hi, Ike. Hi, Melissa. And Melissa, Ike, and Jean just came out with a beautiful, beautiful album called Dream Dancing from Anzik Records. And it's a gorgeous compilation of songs, voice, guitar, strings, bass, the whole shebang, the whole enchilada. And we'll be talking to Melissa, Jean, and Ike very shortly and hearing some of their music live, which is so exciting. And first, however, we do this as a tradition on Mia's World. We tape today, which is August 3rd, which happens to be Tony Bennett's birthday. I think he's 96 today. Is that possible? I think so. But anyway, today is August 3rd, and we have some trivia based on today's date. So today's birthdays: Tony Bennett, 1926. Martin Sheen, the actor, 1940. Martha Stewart, 1941. Isaiah Washington from Grey's Anatomy, 1963. Football player American Tom Brady, 1977. And Ryan Lochte, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, the American swimmer and 11-time Olympic medalist, 1984. Today in history, in 1900, the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company was founded. It's kind of amusing, right? In 1914, Germany invades Belgium and declares war against France in World War I. In 1967, August 3rd, 45,000 US soldiers were sent to Vietnam. In 1972, the US Senate ratified the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty. In 2004, the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty reopened after being closed since the September 11th attack. Today in music, very interesting facts. In 1963, after 300 shows, the Beatles ended their run at the Cavern Club in Liverpool. And in 1963, Surfer Girl was released by the Beach Boys. Hello, I Love by The Doors hit #1 on August 3rd, 1968. And in 1971, Paul McCartney announced the formation of his group Wings. Okay, so today's holidays: August 3rd, it's Airplane Crop Duster Day. It's Clean Your Floors Day. It's Grab Some Nuts Day, and it's National Watermelon Day, and it's Esther Day. Okay, and finally, we've been doing this for many years on Mia's World. And thanks, by the way, to my editor and engineer, Jade Zabrich, who's also a singer, songwriter, and excellent guitarist in her own right. So I wrap up the news in rhyme to turn the gloom to bloom. So here we go for this week's news in rhyme. I call myself the Limerick Babe. What's next for Ben and Jen? Wait, wait, I'll count to 10. A celebrity bash for lots of cash. It may not be so zen. They hired a luxury planner in a lavish, extravagant manner. She said, oui, oui, in gay Paris. Meanwhile, J-Lo's getting tanner. Not daunted by inflation, they'll be having their celebration at Affleck's estate in Georgia. Per plate, I can't do the calculation. For contrast, check this out. Bradley Cooper citing Don't Pout. He hosted, they say, an intimate soiree at his New York apartment, no doubt. He's sporting a solid grin while dating Uma Abedin, both friends of Matchmaker, for goodness saker, Vogue's Anna Wintour, win-win. Yes, Nancy went to Taiwan. If not, all our freedoms were gone. Who's to decide each momentous ride? Oh, it's summer, so party on. And it's National Clean Your Floor Day, so mop and dust away. Shake that feather duster plume and dance with a broom. Now where is my Chardonnay? And that's Mia's wrap up of the news this week in August 3rd, 2022. So now, welcome to my wonderful guests, Melissa STYLIANOU, Jean Bertoncini, and IKE STURM. How are you guys? Where are you? You're live from New Jersey, I believe, right?
Yes, Englewood, New Jersey.
Englewood, fine town. And you've got this great art on the walls, art before art. So we're going to have some fabulous art. Your new album is Dream Dancing, right? So, you know, we just have to do a little bit of bio before we begin. Jean, you have been like on the map from the Tonight Show days. You've played with everybody from Benny Goodman, Tony Bennett, Nancy Wilson, Hubie Laws, and Chet Baker. And you wrote for Chet, a tribute to Chet Baker, which is on Dream Dancing, I believe, right?
Yes. I did. One of my last gigs was with Chet Baker, a real thrill.
Where was that, Jean? In New York?
Actually, that was in Edmonton, Alberta.
Really?
And played in the city as well. He went back to Europe to stay. It was great. It was just great to be associated with him. I learned a lot just being around him, Chet.
Well, you are a great listener as well as a great performer. And I think that the appeal to me of, and the mystery to me of a jazz trio or quartet or even duo is that I think my friend Pete Malinverni said this once, it's like a dialogue and you have to listen and you have to pause and you have to listen to each other and improvise and stop. And it's difficult. It's like a conversation, right?
That's what it is, exactly. Conversation, and then it's real participation. And so you're really creating and communicating, and that's the best part of the music, really.
Yeah, I mean, do you get nervous if there's like a lot of pauses, like silent pauses? Then what happens? Somebody has to step in. I never hear that though. It's always like a flow when you three play, and I've heard you guys. It's totally like a river, a flowing river, you know?
Thank you.
Did she say something?
Yeah, she's asking if we get nervous when there's a pause. I don't think so.
I think it's just part of breathing.
Yeah, like silence is golden. So if there's some silence, that's a good thing, right? I just want to read, Melissa, you're from Toronto, and you're with Duchess, the group, and you've done your own stuff and your own songwriting, and you've interpreted everybody from Paul Simon to Bjork. But you and IKE STURM, who also you have your own group, right? What is Ike's group? Ike's Ensemble.
I have a couple. Melissa and I work on a project together that's called Heart. That's a quartet with Guy and Christine there.
A Heart
and
duo called Endless Field, right? And when is the Heart release is coming out too, right?
Yeah, we're working on finishing that. It's a couple records because there's a live record with Donnie McCaslin and then a studio record also. So they'll be coming out hopefully soon. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to read something that the Jazz Times said about Dream Dancing, your new album of the three of you. Vocalist Melissa STYLIANOU, guitarist Jean Bertoncini, and bassist IKE STURM make for a canorous combination, a working trio elevated by keen conversational rapport and an embrace of spur-of-the-moment suggestions. Theirs is quite simply a perfect partnership. That's quite a review, right?
That's so nice.
Who said that?
That was
the Jazz Times.
That was Dan Bilowski
Wow.
for Jazz Times.
Great.
Yeah, so nice. Dan is a wonderful musician, a wonderful person, and I was really glad that he got to listen to this and heard what we put into it, and the communication that Jean was talking about, breathing and conversation. That's exactly what we're going for. So I'm so happy that people get that.
Well, I want to talk about how you all met and how you all came up with the idea of Dream Dancing. But before we do that, I get frustrated when I hear a lot of talk and no music. So let's hear some music first from Dream Dancing. So what will you play first? Corcovado?
Yes. We'll do Corcovado first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Beam tune Corcovado. with Melissa Stylianou, Jean Bertoncini, and Ike Sturm. Corcovado, take it away.
Okay. Cantinho, violão, esse amor uma canção pra fazer feliz a quem se ama. Muita cama pra pensar e ter tempo pra sonhar. Da janela ver seu corcovado, redentor, que lindo. Quero a vida sempre assim, com você perto de mim, até eu apagar da velha chama. E eu que era triste, descrente desse mundo, ao encontrar você eu conheci. Oh, que felicidade, meu amor. Quiet nights of quiet stars, quiet chords from your guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet dreams, quiet walks, quiet streams, a window looking on the mountain. Oh, how lovely, this is where I want to be, here with you so close to me, until the dying flicker of life's ember. I who was sad and lonely, believing life was only a bitter tragic joke, have found with you the meaning of existence, oh my love.
Full house, standing ovation. That was absolutely gorgeous. I feel like I'm drifting away at the ocean in the sands of time. That was gorgeous. That was beautiful, you guys. It's hard to get back to reality here. So how did you three meet? Did you all know each other for a long time, or did Melissa?
I think we should Ike tell the story, because he's the nexus of this trio.
Okay, Nexus, I go ahead.
That's right. Well, I knew my dad was a good friend of Jean's, and huge fan of Gene's, and they worked together. And my dad used to have him come up to the Eastern School of Music where he taught. And so I knew Gene since I was pretty young, probably about 10 years old or so.
Wow.
And when I was about 15 and really getting into playing, I came and took a lesson with Gene up in Rochester. He used to come there really often. And really gradually, you know, he threw me a bone and let me sit in on a tune. And, you know, one thing led to another, and we started playing together quite a bit. And when I moved to New York City, he was kind enough to hire me for gigs. And we've been playing for about 25 years together, you know,
Wow.
almost 30. And so when I was a music director, jazz director at St. Peter's Church for many years, for 17 years. And during that time, Melissa was such a huge part of what we did there. And so I knew that the two of them had to meet. And I said, one day, I forget, Melissa, I think I said, hey, just talk to Gene, figure out a song or something like that, you know, and they did. And it was history after that. They just hit it off like nothing I've ever seen. So
She's so beautiful to play with.
I see it and I hear it, and I know the audience can hear it and see it. And by the way, you three are playing at Mesro Sunday night, August 7th. What time? Is it the later show?
It's the later show, 7:30 and 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, it won't be we three,
Oh, okay.
but it'll be Ike and me and Pete McCann,
Okay.
who is how can I say, a sanctioned sub for Gene. When I told Gene about this gig, and he's only not able to come because the home where Gene's at would make him quarantine for 10 days if he went out to a.
That's a
with-
drag. That's
Over-
that's difficult.
It's really a drag. So then Gene said, "Get the Irish guy." So I did.
Well, it won't be exactly the same without Gene, but it will be fantastic. That's Mesro on West 10th Street in Manhattan, Sunday night, August 7th, 7 o'clock and 9:30 shows. And that's a great, great place for jazz. I sketch jazz musicians live. I've sketched you guys, Gene and Melissa, and that'll be great. So that's a wonderful story about meeting and through your father. I love that story. You know, through the family genes, it trickles down. I love that. So Melissa, did you always want to be a singer? Did you know?
No, I wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted to be a peace. I thought I would travel around the world bringing peace through diplomacy when I was a little kid. Then I wanted to be a teacher. And then I didn't know what I wanted to be. I was really shy, and I loved theater, but only as part of the ensemble. And very late, I was encouraged by some friends to kind of sing louder and sort of, you know, come into my own. And I got some roles in musical theater. And then I studied acting, no singing. I'd left that behind. And it was while I was in theater school studying acting that I started singing jazz. A friend asked me to sing with a big band. And that was it. That was my first experience singing jazz. And
Wow.
and that was in 97. So
Because I know you
Yep.
you sang a regular gig in Toronto at the Rex Hotel for several years, and you've been on the
yes.
scene for a long time. I mean, you sound so trained. And did you train professionally, or is this just like your natural voice?
Like a little bit, yes and no. I found my training with private teachers here and there. So, pardon me, I studied as a classical actor, and of course, we study voice and all sorts of stuff that really does me well, helps me when I'm performing. But in terms of singing, I've had many wonderful teachers. I have a wonderful voice coach who now lives in Canada, but his name is Tom Schilling, and he was one of the reasons I moved to New York. He lived here at 72nd in Amsterdam for, you know, most of his life, I think. And then he moved to Canada. But so I've had some wonderful teachers. And then of course I learned from everybody that I play with and everybody that I listen to. I went to hear Kate McGarry the other night, and just listening to and being in the presence of people like that is a lesson too.
And I want to talk about your mutual passion for Brazilian music, but I wanted to first ask Jean, and if Jean can't hear me, you can relay. Jean, did Jean always want to be a guitarist? I mean, when did that passion start?
That's a good story.
Is there a story?
You bet. Yeah.
Well, my dad came from Italy
Another father story.
and the guitar was always around the house, and I kind of just took to it. And I started taking lessons very early at maybe even 7, no, 8, something like that. And I just really, I don't know, I don't quite understand the reason it came so easily to me, but I think I can honestly say I have a gift. And one of the reasons I practice so hard is that I recognize the fact that I have a gift, you know.
Yes.
And the idea is you can't waste stuff like that when you have it, you know.
Right,
so
right.
I worked at it and learned. I had an older brother as well who played wonderful jazz accordion. He knew tunes, so he taught me a lot of tunes and played dances and everything. And so I learned the American songbook very early. That's, for me, those are the greatest tunes ever written. And
did you play with your brother? Did you play together?
Played together. We with the accordion, we got like a George Shearing sound. He played chords on the accordion and the bass of the accordion, and I just played in the middle of the guitar, and it sounded like George Shearing.
That's amazing. What did was your father thrilled that you played the music?
I could not play enough music for my dad.
Was he also a musician?
I'll tell you a quick story. I was playing after graduating, I went to, I got this degree in architecture.
Really?
But they really sacrificed to put me through college and put all this money into my college education. After I graduated, I got a little gig in a restaurant in the Bronx called Free. And I was wondering what my dad was thinking. He saw me graduate, and the next thing he's sitting in a bar between some crazy characters and watching me play, and I just didn't know what he was thinking, you know. So I looked down, and I was working with a wonderful vibraphone player named Mike Maneri, and it was just a miraculous kind of little duo. And I went down, talked to my dad between sets, and I was just wondering what he was thinking. And he put his arm around me. He said, "Son, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you 100%.
Oh, that's yes, because that means everything. Right?
Italian father.
What a beautiful story. That's incredible. So we had 2 father-son stories that flowed right into the world of your music, and that's phenomenal. I love that story. Yeah, go ahead, Jean.
Kind of kept me going too, you know. You wonder. There are a lot of people I can't really let down because there's a lot of people that have kind of been in my corner, but my dad, you know, that's the start.
Number one. Well, let's hear another tune from Dream Dancing, Jean and Melissa and Ike's latest album on Anzik Records. Are you going to play maybe My One and Only Love?
Yeah, let's do that. My One and Only Love.
You know that song?
I hope so.
The
very thought of you makes my heart sing like an April breeze on the wings of spring. And you appear in all your splendor, my one and only love. The evening shadows spread their mystic charms in the hush of night while you're in my arms. I feel your lips so warm and tender, my one and only love. The touch of your hand feels like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. The blush on your cheek whenever I speak tells me you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender. My one and only, my one and only, my one and only
Oh man, how gorgeous is that? That is My One and Only Love by Guy Wood and Robert Mellon lyrics. And that is the amazing trio of Jean Bertoncini, Ike Sturm, and Melissa Stylianou. And here's another quote from, I believe, the same writer from Jazz Times speaking about that particular recording of My One and Only Love on your new Dream Dancing album. He says, Stylianou's rendezvous with Bertoncini on My One and Only Love nods to that pair's first musical encounter some 14 years ago when Mutual Connection Sturm made the introduction. The music, of course, took care of the rest, as it does to this very day. How beautiful.
That's right.
Beautiful.
That was the very song that we played together.
Really?
Oh, yep.
14 years, really?
That was
What was that recording?
she was quoting from the Jazz Times review where he said very nice things about us.
About that song specifically, too.
Yep.
Well, how did you get the idea of the title Dream Dancing, and why is Dream Dancing, the song, not on the album?
I'll take that one. It's become a bit of a theme for me. The same thing happened to me with No Regrets. So No Regrets is my album from 2014. I went into the studio and did a live to 2-track album with James Farber at the board and Bruce Barth and Linda O and Matt Wilson, Billy Drews and Anat Cohen on a few. And we did, 17, 18 tunes in a day and a half. And we recorded No Regrets back then. And it just, when you're recording so quickly and going for a live feel, sometimes it just doesn't make the cut. And that's what happened to us with Dream Dancing. We recorded that, and it's so funny. We recorded a lot of songs that we've been playing together a lot as a trio. And some of those songs didn't end up on the record. Like we recorded East of the Sun, which we've been doing since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I Remember You and a bunch of other songs. We'll just have to do them on another record, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
Dream Dancing too.
Dream Dancing too. But maybe we'll call it else that is not on the record. But in the end, we were mixing and realizing that, you know what, Dream Dancing live went so great. In the studio, it just wasn't quite up to snuff. But the name of the song still fit the energy of the session, and it was actually what we were planning on calling the record the whole time. So it was in my head. And sometimes when I get an idea, it's hard for me to let go. And we love the idea of dancing together, because I think that we're an equal partnership trio, and we each feel like we take the lead sometimes. So that's why it worked.
That's a wonderful explanation. And I do love the title, Dream Dancing. It feels like a dream and that you're dancing. So it's a beautiful title and a beautiful album. I also wanted to ask, because I know you do play some Brazilian songs together. And so how did you realize your mutual passion for Brazilian music?
Can I just say something?
Of course.
I just working with this lady. It's so wonderful because she's such a brilliant musician in just in terms of her ears and her ability to sing. So I'm kind of free to go anywhere I want, and I take it. I sometimes just take it. I don't know if she's going to like this or what, but she goes with everything and she responds. It's such a pleasure to be able to do that, go anywhere and know she's going to be there. And
take the risks or do whatever you want and feel free enough to do that so that you know that she's there.
right.
Right.
That's great. And you haven't taken me anywhere that I didn't like. But also, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think that over the years, I've begun to take you some places too. At least I try.
Absolutely.
I'm trying.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we all do that.
That's a great compliment to your artistry and ability to improvise and dialogue and breathe, as Jean says.
Yes.
Just play great jazz and
man, can this guy improvise? I mean, of course he can improvise, but we somehow at one of our concerts, we both ended up on the floor. And I had the microphone, we were lying on our backs and we were trading on a song, and he just took me to school, man. Holy moly.
Jean, do you practice every day? That's a big discipline.
Yeah, I try to.
Because I remember we were on the phone once and you said, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta practice." I said, "That is fantastic discipline and motivation."
He practices all the time. He's being modest, but
yeah.
He's pretty inseparable with this guitar. So yeah, it's inspiring to see.
Do you have several, or do you rely on just that one? And
how many guitars do you have?
I have about 5 guitars.
5? Wow.
But I have one favorite, made by John Buscarino, and I've used it pretty much all my life, and just had it brought back to me. And I have a nylon. I have a regular electric guitar, D'Acquisto, which is a great guitar maker, and the rest are nylon string classical guitars. Because I love the one of my favorite sounds is the acoustic guitar, the nylon string guitar. And it just appeals to people as well. It's never harsh. And the chords, you can hear the chords, and I like using my fingers to arpeggiate things. So
what is that? Do you know that wood? It's beautiful wood. Do you know what that is by any chance?
What'd she say?
What guitar made of? Do you know what it's made of?
This regular spruce top. Yeah, wood.
Wood. And Jean, did you actually train classically?
Did you train classically?
I did. I took a couple of years of classical guitar lessons.
After, after the architecture?
Can I tell you what'd you say?
Yes.
I had a great jazz guitar teacher named Chuck Wayne. Do you know that name?
Yes, from you, I think. I think I heard it from you.
He was with the original guitar player with the George Shearing Quintet. And he told me to listen to the music of Julian Bream because we both liked.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a record of Julian Bream that just completely changed my life. I started taking classical guitar lessons, and then I tried to find ways to include it. And I started using it when I worked with Lena Horne.
Wow.
It was just me and her. It was great. She always wanted to do solo guitar things with me, and that was really a lot of challenging, but a lot of fun. So guitar and voice.
Guitar and voice is incredible. I play recorder, classical recorder, and I always used to listen to recorder and lute. So recorder and guitar, I was always interested in that duo because the wood of the recorder and the wood of the guitar or the lute are such a beautiful combination.
Like a soprano.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, really incredible. And what about the Brazilian passion that you have to play Brazilian music together?
Well, João Gilberto used to borrow my guitar every time he came to New York from Brazil. So I got to be very friendly with João, and I kind of helped him, as well, because sometimes he couldn't express himself if he wanted more volume or something. So but he always used my nylon string guitar, and so I became very, very, very in love with not only him because he's such a great musician, and I never met Jobim, but Joao was just very inspiring and very humble. But so I fell in love with that music too, and so it's been part of my life as well. I feel grateful.
It is such a gorgeous sound, the Brazilian music. It's so rich,
Yeah.
and it seems to intertwine with a lot of jazz musicians as well.
You just pull the strings, just lovely. It's not bashing at it, and it's not electronic. It's very human.
Have you played in with any Brazilian singers aside from Melissa, of course, who's not Brazilian but sounds Brazilian when she sings Brazilian?
I have actually worked. I didn't work with. I think I just sat in with one of the Brazilian ladies that I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Most it's Melissa, and but everybody sings some of those tunes, too. So I've done tunes with horn players, and those great Brazilian repertoire and the bright sambas, stuff like that. Samba de Orfeo, but also
Manhã de Carnaval.
Always great.
In fact, we made a little EPK for our trio, and we found a little clip of you playing Corcovado with Tony Bennett.
Oh man.
TV special. So there's footage. I've heard you play Corcovado, just guitar and voice with Tony Bennett too.
Yeah, that was his special, the Singer Sewing Machine special.
Really?
He was stage right near me, and he sang Corcovado.
Oh my gosh, what a memory, right?
I was playing not too long ago at Birdland with Monty Alexander.
Yes.
Tony came out and sat in the audience there and listened to us, which was great, with his wife Susan. It's just great.
Amazing stories you have, Gene. You should write a book, Gene. You know, you got so many stories, fabulous stories, right?
Actually, they're true too.
I know. That's what makes it so great.
Gene have there's a book called Approaching the Guitar, which is a really beautiful, famous book that guitar players lean on a lot to sort of unlock what Gene's doing. So, but I hear you're talking about some more stories, which I think people would enjoy a lot too. So, yeah.
I think we have to record some more stories, Gene. I'll bring a microphone.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah.
To get more stories, record some of your stories.
Yeah.
And speaking of recordings, I on my way here from the Bronx, I was listening to Gene's new record, not the one with Ike and I,
Okay.
but his new record, which is all duets with
What's the record, Gene?
out. It's called Love Like Ours.
Yeah.
And they're all duets?
I got to know Alan Bergman, you know, and first of all, I've because I've worked with singers, I've learned to respect lyrics so much, and I got the opportunity to play with Alan Bergman, singing his songs, and it's just an amazing lyricist, and such respect for the lyrics and how important they are to the music. And so that's been a very great contribution to my life musically as well. And Alan is actually singing on this.
He's singing, really?
A great singer, actually. He's got an album out called Alan Bergman Lyrically, and I did some concerts at his home in Hollywood. With Barbara Streisand sitting there.
He just drops the names so gently, you know.
Right. She's
Oh my
my
goodness. Oh, wow.
Who else did you play? Are the duets with? Who else, Gene? Other duets?
Who else is on the record?
on the record.
Your record, yeah.
Oh, I have Sarah Caswell, fantastic violinist. Terrell Stafford, wonderful trumpet player. I have Jeff Hamilton playing drums, just guitar and drums. And I have, wait a minute, and Mike Maneri playing. And it's wonderful, wonderful albums. It's called Like Ours. Go out and get it.
Yeah.
The name of it is?
Love Like Ours, which is one of Alan's songs.
Oh, Love Like Ours. We have to
Here it is.
Gene sings the song great. You may have even heard him do it on a gig. It's possible because whenever we have a gig, I try to get him to sing.
It's such a great lyric, and I'm so lucky that I've taken it to the lyrics as well, in terms of appreciation and influence. You know, it's great.
Well, one day maybe Gene will play a recorder guitar duet.
She wants to play recorder and guitar duet with you.
We got it. You got it anytime. That's nice, actually.
I love it. Gene, do you prefer like collaborating, with trio versus playing alone, or is it each one has its own beauty?
For me, you're talking to Ike or me?
To Gene, all of you actually.
For me, less is more. I just like, I love the potential for the solo guitar because it's Segovia said it's a little guitar, it's a little orchestra of the guitar. So I think the challenge of coming up with some solo guitar has been always great for me. And then, when I worked with Ike, I make him play with the bow arco, and we have this like vocalist guitar thing with him playing melodies, and of course with Melissa, it's just unbelievably beautiful.
How about you? Oh, that's beautiful. How about you, Ike? Do you like to solo or duo, trio, quartet?
Boy, I think it's apples and oranges for me. I'm recognizing in my life the real extremes where I love playing duo with Gene or duo with Melissa, or my Endless Field duo that I have with Jesse Lewis. But right now I'm working on a project that's for, we just played a premiere of mine for strings and choir with about 120 people. That was just, and I love the lush kind of the sounds that I heard from people like Gene and my dad. And early on, I get goosebumps, feeling all of those vibrations. And so I love all of it. I love the real intimacy like we have here. When we just played Corcovado, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
And Gene's just playing acoustically. It's so beautiful to play in that way. And but then when you have strings around you, it doesn't get better than that. So I love all of it. I can't answer you.
And you should hear him play electric too. Well, of course he plays and Endless Fields, and
This guy's amazing.
he can rock out like who knows who. I don't know. I can do anything. And my answer is very similar to these fellas. I love less is more, totally. And I love, large ensemble playing, and there's nothing like singing in front of a big band. Duchess has had the chance to do that a few times as well. I mean, that's how I started, was singing in a big band, but I love that. And I love playing with Ike's projects, and sometimes we get 2 or 3 singers up there too, and improvising at the same time. There's been so many situations that are wonderful, but I really treasure the space that happens in this particular trio.
Yeah, it's a great space to be in. Gene, when you were a member of the Tonight Show band,
Yeah.
was that how many that was a big band, right?
What'd you say?
Yeah, Tonight Show band. That was a full big band, right?
That was a full big band. The big thing about that for me was I sat next to Clark Terry for 2 years.
Oh wow.
What a thrill.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
he
him
was
too.
great. But Clark Terry right there next to me. And it was just amazing.
Those were great talk show bands, and they had the great honor of Gene Bertoncini in them. So they lucked out too. So I guess we still have some time left to talk. Now, is your dad still teaching, Ike?
Oh, my dad actually passed on about 8 years, but it's I appreciate you asking about it, because his presence, I always feel so strong, especially when I'm with Gene, because he was sort of the nexus for us, in terms of
Yes.
And my dad loved Gene so much, and he was a very funny guy like Gene. They shared. I remember hearing Gene, Gene would call up my dad and tell him a joke, and they'd fall apart. And it was just, those things are what really bring the music together, I think. We love the music so much, but it's almost an ancillary kind of thing, where it's like, for us, there's so much kind of family and familial connection for us with this group. And I think we talked about that a lot with the album, or realized a lot of that in the album, that like the music is one part of this connection, And so my dad's here with us right now, I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
He's definitely listening, and it's so lovely. And so is your father, Gene. Your father's listening too.
He was just a lover of music, and I can't say much more than that, because I think it's so unusual for somebody to say, you can't play enough music for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's,
that's such a
fathers are looking for you to get a secure job, and also
exactly. That's interesting, because I know my parents wanted me to go do something practical, but my father said, but what about music? Same, like do the music, do your passion. And that's
great.
That's a priceless thing for your parents or parent to say to a child.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, before we go out of the show, I just want to thank you each singly and communally, if that's a word, trioally. Melissa STYLIANOU, IKE STURM, and Jean Bertoncini. It's such an honor and a delight to hear you live and to talk with you about your passions for music and your fathers and your stories of how things evolved in your lives and how dream dancing evolved. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous album. And I think we'll go out of the show with is it the first cut on Dream Dancing, which is Sweet and Lovely. And that is certainly a standard written by, we do have this written down, Harry Tobias, Gus Arnheim, and Charles Daniels. So this is Sweet and Lovely, and it's been completely sweet and lovely to have you as guests on my show on Mia's World. So have a wonderful day and go out and enjoy some music and go get Dream Dancing and listen to Jean, Ike, and Melissa. So here you are playing Sweet and Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you, Mia.
Love you.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play it now. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Yeah, we'll play it now live.
Okay. Oh, live now.
Yeah.
Now?
Uh-huh. Sweet and lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. Sweet and lovely, heaven must descend on my way. Skies above me never were as blue as his eyes. And he loves me. Now who would want a sweeter surprise? When he nestles in my arms so tenderly, there's a thrill that words cannot express. In my heart a song of love is haunting me. Melody taunting me. Sweet and lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. And he loves me. There is nothing more I can say. Sweet lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. Sweet and lovely, well, heaven must descend to my way. Skies above me never were as blue as his eyes. And he says he loves me. Well, who would want a sweeter surprise? When he nestles in my arms so tenderly, there's a thrill that words cannot express. In my heart a song of love is haunting me. Melody taunting me. Sweet and lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. And he loves me. There is nothing more there is nothing more there is nothing, there is nothing, there is nothing, there is nothing, there is nothing more I can say.
That was that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to Mia's World. Love you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Ann.
much.
Thank you.